everyone, and welcome to EduMatch. Follow along with us at tinyurl.com/tweettalk69, as well as on Twitter with the hashtag EduMatch. Speaking of EduMatch, did you know that you could be the featured person of the day? Just sign up at our website at edumatch.org and check us out. We will tweet you out over a period of 24 hours, get you connections from all over the world. In addition, you can sign up there to join our Voxer group that goes blip, 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 all hours of the night. No, I'm just joking. You can turn off your notifications, but it's a great group, great people, great conversations. So tonight, we are going to be talking about movement in the classroom. We have an awesome moderator, Justin Schleider, so we're going to have him introduce himself in just a moment, but first, we're going to introduce our returning panelists. So welcome back. So Desiree, if you could please tell us a little bit about yourself.
Yes, my name is Desiree Alexander. I am the Instructional Technology Supervisor for Caddo Parish Public Schools in Shreveport, Louisiana, and I'm the founder and consultant of Educator Alexander Consulting, LLC.
Awesome. Welcome back, Desiree. And next we have Rochelle.
Hey, Rochelle from Pittsburgh, Spanish teacher, STEAM teacher, returning panelist as well. Happy to be here to join in with Justin on this talk about movement.
All right, awesome. Welcome back. Welcome back, Rochelle. Glad to have you. And last but not least, we will have our fantastic moderator introduce himself, and then he'll kick it off.
Hello. My name is Justin Schleider. I'm a physical education, health, and technology integrationist in a preschool to 6th grade building. And I am ready to start talking movement in the classroom. So first, hello everyone out there who's watching. I guess in 30 seconds you'll be getting this, or 2 minutes, or whatever the delay is, which is kind of cool. So let's get started right away. Question 1, what is the research supporting movement in the classroom? Whether you have read it, heard about it, whether you have come across it somewhere in social media or in your school, what do you know about movement in the classroom? Why is it so important? Anyone want to jump on, Rochelle?
Did you actually call me first?
Yeah, what have you heard about movement in the classroom? Why is it good? What do you think is scientific about movement?
Well, people, I know just, and I'm going to speak from experience in my classroom first before any of the research with it. I've just noticed that over the past couple of years, I've had a lot of students who, you notice them moving, tapping, constantly fidgeting in their seats and so forth. And I mean, that can definitely be distracting. And it's that energy that they have, or depending on the time of day that you have that they come into your classroom, you know, if it's early in the morning, they're tired. If it's right after lunch, they're wound up. And so I kind of noticed like I might need to work with them. So I actually started doing some things on my own to get them up and moving around before I started to hear people talking more about it. But then as far as research goes, I've read some things, you know, online, different blog posts, different websites. I know at ISTE this past summer, there were some sessions offered in the program about getting the kids up and moving, you know, students who are more actively engaged in doing, you know, getting rid of the desks and moving around the classroom. Even just for a funny example, like we play some of the games that are popular in class, and I have some students who really cannot sit still, and that's the perfect thing for them is the lights are dimmed and they're playing the game and they're standing at their desk with their phones and they're playing and they're like bouncing around to the music and getting all that energy going, but it's being put into, you know, how engaging they are. So I don't know how much of what I just told you was research based, but it's interesting how kind of like start to notice like you gotta find a way to work with that. But then there is a lot of information out there, and I know, like I said, with ISTE this summer, and even at some ed camps I've been to, that's been a topic of discussion too.
And you're a true educator. Look at you with the breakout EDU box just hanging out behind you. Just chilling.
That's just there because I haven't used it yet.
Desiree, what are your thoughts on movement and either research-based, science-based, or even anecdotal? Because I don't need it to always be in a scientific journal. We've done, you know, enough years in the classroom that, you know, the same things keep popping up again and again. What are your thoughts on movement?
I'm kind of based on, kind of bouncing off of what Rochelle just said. I'm starting to see more of a move in our classrooms towards alternative seating and things like that to help with movement in the classroom. I don't think we are at the point anymore where the traditional classroom is still working. In my opinion, I think we do need to shake it up, and moving in the classroom does that. It enhances learning. I know research has been done on moving in the classroom, how it affects the brain and how it affects students learning and actually being able to concentrate more because they can move in the classroom, and because they have the recess and the daily physical education programs, that it actually helps with not only their fitness, but it helps them perform better academically. And it helps them have better attitudes too. So there's a lot of research behind it. I know that for a while it was kind of looked down on, and recess and even PE were being canceled and things like that. But I think this kind of movement, no pun intended, movement towards movement education becoming more popular now is a good thing because it helps our students. And kind of what Rochelle said, just anecdotal, it does help them kind of get those shakes out, and it helps the student that does that and that does want to move around not feel like they are doing something wrong and that they are looked down upon if that's actually a part of your classroom. And it enhances those social skills and conflict resolution. I mean, it can go into really any part of your classroom and what we're trying to teach our students.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with you 100% there. Sarah, do you have something to add to the conversation?
Yeah, definitely. Just wanted to piggyback on what our panelists have said, and I have also witnessed the power of it myself as, as a teacher and a learner. Just the mornings when I get up and, run or do something active, then that sets me up for the rest of the day. So, if that can apply to us, then of course it can also apply to our students. So that's just my 2 cents I wanted to throw in there.
Yeah, absolutely. When you follow Tim Ferriss, I know on the podcast, when you look at what highly successful people have done and do as one of their routines, exercise is always there. We see the president of the United States exercising all the time. Bill Clinton went on his famous runs just because it sharpens you. Absolutely, just like Sarah knows. And piggybacking on what Desiree talked about, when you look at daily phys ed, like they did in Naperville in Illinois, and that was in that book Spark. And if you have never read Spark, I really recommend it to everyone out there to see how important movement is. When they changed it to movement every day, to phys ed every day, test scores went up. When they had high school students saying, I want phys ed right before my hardest class because I know I'm going to do better, that's where we want right there. So really good point by Desiree there. And then to get to some of the research in a journal, it's been proven. The CDC, I put a link out earlier, did like a meta study, and there was out of 9 studies they looked at, taking time away from teaching and using movement in your class, all 9 showed no negatives from that. There was no negative correlation. 8 out of the 9 studies showed a positive correlation, and that's just cognitively. So think about all the positives that come from behavior, from attitude, from just them enjoying your class. I mean, there's no negative, because you might hear a teacher say, well, I'm losing teaching time. Well, not really. What you're doing is increasing their engagement when they are sitting there learning your content. And we could also get to moving through learning in the future. So go check out the blog post I put on. It has all that in there about the research that is up. All right, so now we get to a little more difficult one out there. How does race, gender, or sexuality affect movement in the classroom? And I'll start this one off and let everyone get a couple minutes to marinate on that. For me, right around second or third grade, my students stopped wanting to dance. And specifically, my boys stopped wanting to dance. Somehow, this gender outlook says it's not cool for boys to dance. And I don't know where it comes from. I don't know why. I love using Coach Perillo, his videos. It's free on YouTube, and I'll put the link out there for everyone. Sarah, if you could do that, it's in the notes right there. And he makes these free Let's Dance videos. They're awesome. And right around 2nd, 3rd grade, we get some of the boys who think they're a little too cool for dancing. And I don't understand why. It's a lifetime movement. It's fun. I mean, the coolest people at weddings, at parties, at get-togethers, at gatherings are the guys who can dance. So I don't know why or how this stereotype got started that boys don't dance and men don't dance. So that was one of the things that really struck me out there about gender affecting movement. So to get around that, I tell the kids, you just have to march and put your knees above your hips when you're marching if you don't want to dance. And then suddenly, you look over, they'll sneak a couple moves in real quick. So now that this is a difficult one, we'll pass it over to Desiree and give you a chance if you could. Do you have any anecdotal experience with this one about either gender, race, sexuality, anything going on with dancing for Desiree?
Well, awesome. Glad I didn't go first because I was kind of wondering, like, I don't know what I would say. But now that you thank you for starting that. I do see a difference in gender, kind of what you're talking about, where it is considered less manly to just have fun with dancing after a certain age, and I have more of a experience with middle school and high school, and even in middle school and especially in middle school, is I see less of it being a gender, sexuality, or race thing, and way more of it being a universal, I don't want to shame myself type of thing with movement. I see it more of a, how do I want to put it? More of an attitudinal thing, more of a self-confidence thing, more of a, if I know that I'm not a good runner, or I may look stupid running, I don't want to run. Like, it's more of a confidence thing I see more in the middle school, and it's not divided by race or gender. It's pretty much all of them. If they think they're good at it, they're going to do it, and if they don't think they're good at it, then they're not going to participate in the movement. So that's kind of what I see more than it being race, gender, or sexuality.
Yeah, and you bring up a great point there, because when you read the book Growth Mindset, Dweck talks about it a lot in dancing and art. Those are the two things that people will inherently have a fixed mindset about. Even our growth mindset people who are kind of aware of the growth mindset and think that they're all growth mindset, you talk to them, they'll tell you, I can't draw, I can't paint, I can't dance. Well, no, it's that you haven't practiced it, just like everything else in life, just like math, just like Spanish, just like French. You wouldn't expect to start speaking French if you've never learned it or practiced it. So why would you expect to be able to dance right from the beginning? One of the best dancers I ever met was my buddy Reggie. And he told me he would sit in his room for hours just trying to stay on beat and practicing moves over and over and over again. And that's all that dancing is just practicing. Rochelle, what do you have to add to this?
Well, I'm glad that I didn't go first. I'll add that first of all. But it's interesting whenever you start to talk about, when you answered first, I started to think instantly of stories in my experience. And a couple of years ago, I teach Spanish, and I'm also certified as a Zumba instructor. I've never actually taught it. I have the DVDs. I play the music in class when students come in, most days when the computer works, but just to get them up and moving. And I started that a couple of years ago. I just thought it was a cool way to get them in and excited. And we have a teacher in our school who he started this dance class, and I made a deal with him to take my Spanish 4 students, or actually Spanish 3 students at the time, down to the dance studio. And I didn't tell the students where we were going. All I did was say, okay, we're going on a field trip. And we walked out of the room and headed down to where it was. And it was a small class. There were 6 students, and 3 of them were boys. And one of the boys, as we got closer and we didn't go into the cafeteria, he turned around and he looked at me, he says, if we're going to dance, I'm never coming back to school again. And I just laughed. And so we went in, and you would never believe it, but they danced more than the girls in that class. And they put on sombreros, and they had the best time. And they begged me every day, like, when are we going? Are we going to do this every Friday? And I think it helped a lot because they were in a small group. forced them to interact with females where maybe they would not have. It did put them in an uncomfortable position because they had to try these new dances like the tango or whatever the teacher was teaching. But it opened up a lot of communication and collaboration, outside of the classroom in a new element where nobody was really comfortable. The boys weren't comfortable because I don't know whether it's typically thought of that females are dancers. The girls weren't comfortable because they typically didn't interact so much with the boys at such a close proximity. And so it ended up being like this awesome learning experience. And so I've done that over the years. And it's a lot of fun, but you're right. There tend to be stereotypical thoughts about, who should or shouldn't dance, or who is a good dancer, who's not a good dancer. And you really don't know if you are or you aren't until you try. And last night, just on Facebook, some of those funny things that you can send, I was talking with a friend about dancing, and there's these animations, and I always joke that like I do the Elaine from Seinfeld. I don't actually dance like that. It's either that or the Carlton. I put one of the two out. But I did take dancing as a young child, but I'm one of the people, like you said, your friend, where I remember watching, and I'm just going to throw it out there, Janet Jackson's Rhythm Nation video over and over and over until I learned the moves so I could do it, because that's the era I grew up in. And I know I'm talking, see, I'm practicing from my 3-hour answer the one time many years ago, but I think there's a lot of issues that come up in it, and it comes down to a lot of comfort. But I think if you set it up correctly and you provide that support and let everybody know that everybody has some kind of a weakness or a strength, and you're all just learning and get from it whatever you can, and you just go from there. I'm done.
Absolutely. That's awesome that you're getting the kids out of the classroom. That's always fantastic. Switch it up, engagement, novelty, everything. Throw them the curveball so they don't come and go, I already know what we're doing today. All right. So brain boost, not brain breaks. If your brain takes a break, you die. I mean, that's basically it. So that's kind of a misnomer when you see that out there. Really gets in my crawl. Let's go to our last question of the evening. What are the best resources for teachers to use in order to facilitate movement? So what are you doing? What are you doing to get your kids moving in the classroom? Whether they're websites, whether they are things you have created, whether you say, all right, we're going to stand up and take a quick 2-minute break. What are some of your go-tos? Let's go with Desiree. What is one of your go-tos for movement in the classroom?
Well, I don't really call them brain break, brain boost, but I like to call them energizers, because we kind of get up to get our blood pressure up and to kind of get our brains working again, and kind of reduce that restlessness. So one of the things that I promote, being an instructional technologist, is Go Noodle. And Go Noodle, it can be used really for any grade level. A lot of people think of Go Noodle for just elementary, but no, it can definitely be used for any grade level. And what I love about Go Noodle is that it's a free component, and then you can do the paid component, but there's so much out there for free. And what I love about Go Noodle is that it's research based. So anything that you play, they have the brain research to back it up. And some of them actually have content. So you're actually moving and learning at the exact same time. So I absolutely love that. They have history ones and English. I mean, just really anything. It's really, really cool. They have ones that if recess is canceled for the day because it's raining outside, you can use this. I love that it's in categories and no one can really combat it. So if somebody will walk in and go, well, why are you doing that? You have a reason for it. So that's my tool, Go Noodle.
Hey, Desiree.
Yes.
Are you ready?
No.
To pop. Popsicle! I will listen to that video all day. It is the funniest video in the world. If you do not know Popsicle from Go Noodle, go on YouTube right now, put it in there. I mean, it is just so funny. Plus, they put a little thing for the kids to do. And I really like one of the dudes is dancing like this in it. So even your kids who hate dance will do it. So definitely huge Go Noodle gamification as well in there. Rochelle, what do you have? What are some of your go-tos for movement in the classroom?
Well, I was going to mention Go Noodle. I haven't used it, but I just know that there's a lot of people that do use that one that I've read about. And even just a I mean, short little things like if you have activities planned and spur of the moment, you can create something in your classroom and have students get up and do like a gallery walk or just move around with other groups. And like I said, with the Zumba music and the DVDs, I've been planning, they've been asking me to do some Zumba in class, and I'm thinking, well, I don't know if I really want to do that, but I might before the Christmas break for sure do that. But with the dance teacher, we've connected a couple of times, and he's come into my classroom, move the desks aside, and do that. Other random things to get them moving. We've done scavenger hunts where we use our phones with some social messaging tools, and so I've sent them on scavenger hunts throughout the school, and they've just done like the funniest but the most bizarre things. I mean, just one example, and it was in Spanish, about finding a river to swim in or a pool to swim in or something like that. And our floor in our school, as it's been redesigned, it looks like a river because we're near the river. And the students, the feed that they used for this, they like laid on the floor and were like pushing off of the side of the wall across the floor back and forth. And then they went down to the gym and they were like riding on a bike. So even little things like that, just to send them out and about within the school, can get them up and moving, and you're still learning. And the one thing you said, and I know in the question about the brain boost, I really like that because it's not taking away from learning. It's just getting you to do some kind of active learning in a different mannerism, I guess. So.
Yeah, absolutely. So to sum it up for me, if I could, I would try to tie every piece of learning with movement. Now that's almost next to impossible, but you can teach through movement. So if you're doing that, that's like the ultimate. That's better than brain boosts, brain breaks, activity, whatever. I mean, if we can learn through movement and learn with movement, now not only are we getting the benefits of movement, which we talked about, I didn't talk about it on air here, but when you're sitting, your lungs can't expand as much. So when you're standing, you're actually taking in more oxygen and having that flow through the body. So you're actually thinking better there. But if you could actually teach with movement, now the students are going to remember it because it's tied to something. Just like if you teach something through a song, they remember it better. And that's all in John Medina's Brain Rules book. That's where we want to get to. That's like the pinnacle. So I'm going to wrap up my time here saying thank you for letting me moderate. And I will kick it over to the great, the awesome, the omniscient Sarah, the teacher.
Thank you so much, Justin, and thank you so much to Desiree and to Rochelle as well. Great discussion, and that last question really had me thinking about my last year in the classroom, how we used to break out the Xbox Connect, and there were so many great games there that we would fire up every now and then to just kind of get our bodies going at the same time. So thank you to everyone who was on panel tonight. Thank you to our moderator, Justin. Thank you to everyone who was tweeting and who was watching and who will do so in the future. So the Twitter transcript will be available in about 7 minutes, and the audio will be available as an iTunes podcast within the coming weeks. So if you come back at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, which is about 35 minutes from now, then we are going to have another episode with moderator Ron Madison discussing human trafficking and how to bring an end to it. So we have a great panel there who will be discussing their work in that area. So hope to see y'all back at that time. Wanted to give a huge shout out before we leave to EdCamp Voxer, and the name is actually slightly changed. We are now EdCamp Voice on Voxer, but that'll be going on December the 27th until the 29th. So sign up at the website edcampvoxer.com, and that'll be a great time of learning. So if you want to subscribe to this, then check out bit.ly/EduMatch podcast, and you will never miss an episode. So again, thank you all so much, and have a great rest of your evening if we don't see you at 7.